Welcome back to another episode of Let's Finally Grow. I'm your host, Ariana. Ari. Hey, yo, what up? What up? What up? Today we have an exciting celebration of life. We've done this before, and guess what? We're going to do it the fuck again. We're going to do it as many times as we need to. And the fact that we're only on our second time doing it is pretty good. So we're going to have a celebration of life. I'm wearing all black for a funeral, and the funeral is for my ego. Your girl had an ego death once again. I know. It's a loss, and any kind of loss in life sucks, but I'm happy to see her go. I'm happy to see that ego bitch old version of myself go. It was time. Her days were dwindling. So let's get into what the fuck happened, because it's a story. It's always a story for us to talk about. We're celebrating life and death. Let's go. It's never fun when you hear death knocking on your door, especially when it's your ego. It happens so suddenly, and there's no turning back once the signs start arriving that the bitch has to die. A week and a half ago, my life changed forever, for the better. I had a sudden feeling that everything I was doing for my podcast was no longer working. And it was so scary to be in that position when everything that I'm creating for this is based off of my intuition, based off of my creativity, and then to hit a wall and feel like you have no more ideas to give, and all of the ideas that you already had, episodes that were already made, plans that were in fucking place, were no good. They were no longer serving a purpose to the version of yourself who created all of this. But it does help that I have been down this road before. This was not my first rodeo with my ego looking death right in the eye, saying, kill me. Do it. Go ahead. I'm a lot to handle. So thank you guys for putting up with me. But I started to have a feeling that my episodes that I already had created, that were already on schedule, already planned out, made, recorded, edited, that they were no longer relatable to me. I kind of felt like I had the ick with myself. So sitting with that feeling, no self-love, baby. No self-love. I felt the ick from everything I was talking about. I was like, no one is going to like this bullshit. This is horrible. I can't put this out there. I feel sick to my stomach. And when I had the thought of, what are you going to put out there instead, Ariana? Nothing came to mind. Absolutely nothing. I was so focused on the version of myself who was creating these episodes that were already in place, that was talking about whatever I was talking about, and how I could get back to that, and how I could still work with that and not get rid of it and not view myself in this light that I was. And the thought always comes to mind, like, do you not want a podcast out anymore, Ariana? Is this not for you? Like obviously I love having a podcast. The thought randomly came to my mind years ago, way before it even started. And it took me long enough to even start the podcast. And now that we've got it going, there's no turning back. It can't be my love for the podcast. It has to be my motherfucking ego. And it makes sense because a new year has come and go. We're in a new year. Things have happened in my life that I've had to overcome. So I'm outgrowing the version of myself that was saying whatever the fuck she was saying on here. If only I could go back in time and tell myself that and be able to hear it. So if I can do that for someone else, here we are. In the past, I feel like I have definitely sat with myself and questioned my own way of thinking for far too long. Like I would feel that something was off and then continue to record episodes, continue to put episodes out that really I didn't feel good about. And I would just get further and further and further away from myself because I didn't want the answer to be me having to change anything, me having to not like something that I'm doing. Like, it's just a scary thought to be in that land of the unknown and feel like, why isn't this working when it was working yesterday? Like, I loved this. Why isn't it working anymore? Why does something feel off? It must be me. I must be crazy. I love using that excuse. And I feel like a lot of people do. It must be us. Our instincts must be off. Why do we even have them? Let's just keep going with the fucking flow. So instead of trying to navigate in the situation I was in where everything felt off, I instead asked myself some questions. And yeah, I did ask ChatGPT to help me out with like these questions to ask myself. I started to ask myself, like, what is this feeling that I'm feeling? Like, what does not resonate with me anymore? What the fuck is giving me the ick of myself? Why am I giving myself the ick? Like, let's pinpoint what that exactly is. And it's weird when you ask yourself a question, you answer it. It's really fucking weird. It's as if someone else asked you the question and you answer it, but it's yourself. Have you tried it before? I don't know. You should give it a try. And sometimes I don't get those answers immediately after I ask myself the question, but throughout my day as I'm going on, I start to like gain clarity. And I think I'm no psychologist. Let's just make that clear. But I think it's because when you are in the loop in your mind of what isn't working and like it's replaying and you don't find a solution because something isn't working, when you create a new loop and you think, what about this is no longer working? Like, what about this no longer resonates with me? What about this is giving me the ick? It allows your mind to like go into a loop of trying to figure out what is actually wrong versus just like replaying the scenario. I don't know. Psychology 101, maybe. I realized as I was going through this that this is a pattern that applies to so much more than my podcast, which is why I'm going to talk about it. I'm not just telling, like there's more to the story. This applies to relationships, dating, friendships. I guess they all fall under the same category as relationships, but work. The usual trio, friendships, dating, and work that we talk about. You know the feeling when something is off in any of those situations, and your natural instinct, if you're anything like me, is to ignore it because you don't want something to be off in any of those situations. You like it just the way it is. We don't want change. Things were going smooth. I didn't have to do any work. We were in flow state, but you know when something is off. And I usually like to ignore it and tell myself, it's an off day, Ariana. Your hormones, something is off. It'll feel better. Let's just keep riding the wave and see where it's going. We literally try to ignore it, this feeling of our intuition telling us that something is off as much as we can and give it as many excuses as we can. And as we do that, we just get further and further and further away from ourselves, which is so frustrating, so aggravating. Many times, if not all the time, we take this feeling as a loss towards someone or something else. So instead of thinking that this has anything to do with us, we think and we grip on the idea that like we're going to lose someone else, something else. We're going to lose the friendship. We're going to lose the relationship. We're going to lose the job. We're going to lose the podcast. Like it just feels like if we stop and take the steps back that we need to figure something out, that we are going to lose something outside of us that we quite literally can't control. We have no control over it. And our body, the little bit of control we have of anything in these situations is our instincts telling us something is off, something needs growth, something needs to be reevaluated, whatever the fuck it is. So you need to take steps back because the only way you can control it is by looking within yourself. And in those moments, our ego quite literally is like, oh, wait, no, I'm attached. I'm attached to whatever the fuck it is. And we are not going to change. We are going to avoid it the best we can. It's such like a mind fuck. It's like you feel something is off, and then all of a sudden the ego is like, but wait, we have attachment issues. We're going to attach to it. We need it. If we lose this person, if we lose this podcast, if we lose this friendship, we'll be nothing. It means so much to us. It is such a like cluster mindfuck. We feel like we're failing so deeply when we even try to entertain the idea of letting go. It's scary as shit, honestly. We give so many stories to avoid letting go, which in return makes us get hung up on situations for far too long. We're so afraid to lose something in our life, and it feels like we'll never be whole again. But in reality, we're losing the version of ourselves that even wanted that in our life. You can't see that in the moment. But once you recognize that, it's like, okay, let's trust our intuition. Like there's a plan behind this. Like the reason why I had the ick with myself is because I internally was already going through the process of growing out of a certain perspective and a certain way of doing things. And I was no longer relating to that version of me. So I'm getting the ick with myself. And I'm trying to attach onto myself, thinking, I can't lose me. If there's one thing I can't lose, it's me. Literally going through all the emotions, when the second that I allow it to happen, I realize, oh, I don't even fuck with that bitch. What was she even doing and saying? Fuck her. I'm me now. Die, motherfucker. We're reborn into something better. It makes sense. We're nervous to lose our identity, validation, maybe a version of you that survived something. Like that ego that is attached to that version of you has done a lot for you. And it has been a way of growing and thinking and figuring things out for you. So it's scary to let it go, because what the fuck is next? But it's interesting that we attach that so deeply with another person. Like I've done that in dating. I've so done that in dating and friendships. Like, we'll get into it. It feels so close to failure rather than freedom of letting things go and move into something else. We mistake outgrowing something so easily for giving up. That's just so not the case. And it doesn't matter. It really does not matter how many times we go through this, that we have to go through this, because every time it still sucks until you get to the other side of it. I tried so hard this time to like tell myself mind over matter. Something's happening, Ariana. Like we are growing, we are glowing, we are moving. Something's going on. And it wasn't really until I like fully leaned into it. And when we stay in situations longer, we're literally losing the trust with ourselves. And I mentioned that earlier. And what I mean when I say that is, okay, an example. One of my ex-boyfriends that I broke up with, it took me 3+ months to end the relationship. And we had been dating for less than a year. So, yeah. It wasn't like a multiple years, but it took me 3+ months to end that relationship because how much I was going against my ego. And it felt close to impossible to do. It should have not been that difficult. I felt something in me. I knew something was off. It was only getting worse. And like, it wasn't like he was a bad person. It was just that we weren't meant to be together. And like, we were growing in different directions. That's probably the best way to describe it. We were outgrowing each other. And I stayed in it. And that amount of time that I stayed in it, not listening to my intuition, I lost myself. Like I kept losing myself, and I kept losing like trust with myself, because if I'm going against me and staying in a situation that is no longer helping me, no longer making me happy, no longer making me grow, and I can't trust myself anymore, then what the fuck am I doing? Like, if there's one person I want to trust, you can't guarantee you can trust anyone in this world, but you can guarantee that you can trust yourself. And you need to learn to trust yourself to get yourself into situations, get yourself out of situations. Like, I know in that situation, I just felt over and over again, like, if I lose this person, am I making the biggest mistake of my life? Am I going to regret this for the rest of my life? Like, I never thought in the moment that I was meant to grow into something else and life had like another plan in store for me. I associated it with that person. It was the one thing I couldn't control. Like, I couldn't control him. I couldn't make him grow with me. I couldn't control that part. But all I thought about was the thought of losing him instead of losing that version of myself. And I don't even think at that time I knew that. Like, I didn't know that a version of myself was going to be lost and rebirthed and all that bullshit. And after that, like, it was sad. It was a loss. And it's safe to say you miss the person you once were with and, you know, was a close friend and you thought highly of and you had a great time with. But I loved the version of myself I grew into after more. I just had to make it to that fucking side. We think in these situations that things can magically change or get better, but that doesn't happen. It's not a magical thing that's going to happen outside of you. We have to like go within, do the inner work, and do it on our own. This has happened to me in friendships. I have had that intuitive feeling in friendships where you feel sick to your stomach. You don't know what's off. This person's being nice to your face, but you don't know what the fuck is going on underneath. And you start questioning yourself. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? They're being nice to me. They want to hang out with me. They're acting like they're my friend. Why the fuck do I feel something so deeply off? And then you worry, am I doing something wrong? Am I going to lose a good friend? Good friends don't let you feel that way. Let me just say that. Good friends do not let you feel that way. But you don't recognize that maybe the friendship is just being outgrown on both ends. And you no longer align in the same way you once did. And you have to grow to a different version of yourself to understand what actually is lost. And the thing that's lost is the old version of you that you don't even want anymore. You don't even fuck with her. For me, a lot of the times I am scared to have the difficult conversations that something does feel off inside of me. I'm scared to be gaslit and to be told, you know, this is one-sided, Ariana, you're the only one feeling these things. Or I'm scared to lose the person in my life or the situation. Even like with my podcast, you know, I mean, it was a conversation I needed to have with myself, but I was very scared that maybe something in me was going to feel like, podcast life is over, Ariana. We have no more ideas for you. And that would have made me so sad because I love doing this and I love the results I've had so far. I love connecting with people and it's just fucking cool. So in these situations, you really don't have that many options of what's going to go down. Like, it's either going to be you express how you feel and you lose someone in your life, or sometimes you're pleasantly surprised because you express how you feel. You have the conversation with yourself, whatever you need to do, because really what it is, it's growing into another version of you. And sometimes people, situations, things, whatever, can grow with you. With my podcast scenario, I realized I still love what I spoke about before. I still love that perspective. I needed to elevate to a different version of myself with the way I'm doing things and adding more structure and just even the I'm not going to bore you with this. Like, I'm not like, but regardless, I was pleasantly surprised that I still agreed with all of the same things I agreed with before. I still felt better with my ideas. I still had my creative spark in me. I just had to take a step back and grow. to a different version of myself to be able to continue things. And sometimes in friendships and relationships, you say that hard thing and someone recognizes where maybe they were wrong and they needed to grow, and you are now doing the work, if you can even have the conversation, to recognize where you needed to grow, and you fucking grow together. Like, it doesn't always have to be something ends, but if something does end, it was not for you, and your ego needs to stop attaching what's not for you to you. You need to let it die, crash, and burn. Now, ego deaths are not fucking pretty. There's an emotional cost to them. It comes with humility, accountability, and tears for all the avoidance you have given that version of yourself to now finally grow and let go of it. I feel like I have spoken so negative on here about the ego before, and I just don't think I had enough information on what I was actually trying to say, because ego itself is not always bad, but it can trick you and keep you stuck in situations for far too long because of fear of failure, embarrassment, whatever the fuck it is. Or at times it can make you a less version of yourself because you're scared of what other people think. But now I'm learning to let my ego die as many times as I need to let it die, to have it grow past all of those things. Like, I don't want to be the version of myself that gives a shit what anyone thinks, that stays in situations for too long, that is too scared to grow, too fragile. Oh my God, what will it look like? What will I have to face? I want to keep fucking growing because that's what feels good. Like, when has anything looked a certain way to someone and that's felt genuinely good inside of you? Like, oh, I made myself fit in and look like everyone else, and I'm not doing anything too risky. I look so good to people. No. That's your fucking ego lying to you. That's the bitch that needs to die. Her funeral's next. And I am noticing that I am never, ever, 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 ever more angry or upset with anyone else than I am with myself. And that's another trick that the ego plays on you. Because of the ego, I interpret that and think like I am so mad at someone else or I'm so upset with someone else. But it's like the ego, bitch, get away. Let me look within at whatever I've done. And it's so crazy to even think about that. Like, we get so angry with other people and we want them to resolve our problems so we can feel better about ourselves. But there's always a version of us that needs to take accountability and look within to let it go. Like, we're so scared of losing people, but really it's the version of ourselves. And then we're so mad at people, but really we're mad at the version of ourselves. So we need to let the ego die, be reborn, and take motherfucking accountability. I really hope this is making a lot of sense. I'm just learning this new version of me. I hope she talks well and she gets her point across good. But the moral of the story is you yourself and your ego are what is actually keeping you stuck. It's not someone else. It's not someone else that you can't let go of. It's not someone else who hurt you. It's you. I think the hardest part for me is mourning the version of myself. That's the one that is just so difficult because you just can't feel it in the moment. But like once it happens, it's like, that's the one I'm really focusing on. Like, let's mourn ourselves, not someone else or something else, whatever the fuck it is. The second that I admitted to myself that something wasn't working, like sat with my podcast, like sat with my thoughts, I started to feel lighter. Once I started asking, like what I said earlier about asking the different questions in my mind, like trying to pinpoint it and recognizing like something isn't working and admitting it, I start to feel lighter. It's like such a sick fuck. It felt like I couldn't see a path forward because I was filling up all of that space that I had in my mind, in my body, in my soul with what wasn't working and replaying that over and over and over again. And I've done this in relationships, every dynamic. You sit there and you just keep questioning it. And the second that you admit, like, okay, something is not working, and like, let's try to maybe figure out what the fuck isn't. And like, we're the only ones that can figure it out. You start to create so much space for clarity to come into your realm, into your field, into your circle, and light the bitch up to let the other bitch go. You sit there and you use all of your energy to try to fix something that literally just needs to die. For me, I really have to stop defending things in my mind or trying to explain myself, which isn't easy because I'm so solution oriented. I'm like, let's figure out a fucking solution. And the solution is to just let shit go and see what comes around next. The only way out is through, which applies to almost everything in life. I am currently outgrowing that version of myself that I had a week and a half ago. I had her for quite a while. I am outgrowing some ways of thinking, perspective changes, relationship patterns. I'm realizing things that I once thought I wanted don't work for me, don't align in this bitch. And honestly, now it's exciting being on this end of it. Like, now that I get the little hope coming in, I realize that it was just a death of an ego, a death of a version of me that I don't even want in my life anymore. It feels so much better. And I felt so called to speak on it because this happens to all of us all of the time. The amount of times that I have to do this and I have to sit with my uncomfortable emotions and let a bitch die. And then every time it happens again, I am shook to my core that I am in this situation. I feel like, no, this is the time where something's not going to go right. There's not going to be a breakthrough. We're not going to level up. I need to just stay stuck a little bit longer. And then I stay stuck a little bit longer and I have to pay a price for it. And it all winds up working out the way that it was supposed to. Life is complicated. Yeah, life is complicated. There's going to be complications no matter what. When you are growing, when you are dealing with other people, when you are working, whatever it is, let's not put those complications on anyone else. Let's not say those complications are coming from anywhere else. The call is from within the house. I think that's the quote. The call is coming from within the house. We are the source of the complications. The only way to make it better is through us. I want anyone who has listened to this episode to leave with a feeling of like, okay, maybe I'm not stuck. Maybe I'm not mourning the loss of someone else. I'm mourning a version of myself that I need to let go of so I can feel better on the other side and fucking grow. This episode is about rebranding, outgrowing, and leaning into the resistance of change. I strongly believe that the ego is a warning sign to show you what actually does need to be changed in your life. If you start to get that intuitive feeling, your instincts are going off, that something isn't right, that's your sign. It's not something to ignore and think you have no control over. So, yeah. Well, loving memory of that bitch Ariana. Up until a week and a half ago, she was great. I love where she got me. She was cool, but she's gone. This is the new Ari, and this is a new era. And guess what? The episodes are going to be longer. If you stayed this long, you understand that now. We're not doing 2 episodes a week anymore because quality over quantity, baby. And the perspective's only growing. We're growing off of the perspective that she had. So we kind of do still love what she had to say. All those other episodes aren't meaningless. They're still really good and you should go listen to them. But our time here is done. This was a celebration of life and death. Thank you for coming to my funeral. I hope to see you at my next one as well, because there will be a next one.